Hello, hello, and welcome to the Sweet Spot with DeAnda. I'm DeAnda. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please like and subscribe below. Um, let's get into it. I want to share my amazing experience with the 2023 Exodus Summit. This year's summit was titled Location Freedom, Financial Freedom, and Time Freedom. All the things that we need, want, and desire, right? This year's summit was nothing short of amazing. Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow stopped by and did it. I mean, they did it. They curated a summit that checked all the buttons or boxes, sorry, boxes, even ones that I wasn't completely aware that I needed checking, which is, I will say, probably the recipe for the Exodus Summit, at least for me. Um, this was my fourth summit. I joined them in 2020, 2021, 2022, and now 2023. And each time it is like, climbing this ladder of awareness and knowledge and sisterhood and courage and looking at the glass half full or completely full is probably a better way of describing it. Again, for me, it is like a recipe for change in your life. What Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow does is provide you with real time, a real time view into how to actually create change for yourself and see it and not think of it, or that's them, or that's only happening for her. That's only for, those people over there. And not only that, they look like me, and that's another thing that, just kind of wows me about the Exodus Summit. And nothing seems unattainable that they, present. How you can, be at a conference or, read a magazine article and you're like, this is all good, but this is not mine. This is not me. I don't see myself in this. There has been absolutely no portion of the Exodus Summit that I felt like that. One of the things that I get out of continuing to go and participate in the summit is that courage, and that only thing that's stopping me is me. It's that question of, how do you become a beacon of reinvention or your own reinvention? And, the answer to that is courage. And, what does it take to become, the change that you want to see? The answer, again, is courage. And what I get from the Exodus Summit, and particularly this particular Exodus Summit, is that, the tools and the recipe, if you will, to seek that courage and to dream those dreams, and they're not and then make them into reality. One of the things that Stephanie continued to say afterwards was, or actually during, both she and Rashida continued to say, put it in action, put it in action, put it in action. And I have to say that I needed to hear that. The first year in 2020, I took all the information and, I took notes and, told people about it. But I just kind of set it on a shelf. And, it wasn't that I didn't say, it was unattainable, but I still didn't think it was completely mine to claim. And, if you can relate, good times. But again, this is just my journey with it, with the information and the tools. And, it's like I could envision the change, especially, I want to say in 2021, I go again and I'm like, okay, I get it, maybe going to Ghana for an extended period of time would be, the thing that I should do. I, along with my now accountability partner, we led the Ghana Accountability Group, which was created for women who were interested in traveling to, taking a sabbatical, or moving to Ghana. As that group progressed, it turned into just Africa, or wanting to, do those things in Africa, no matter where, which location. And what was born out of that was I got me an accountability partner. And now I have way more, not just one, but a few. But again, that was an introduction through Exodus, the Exodus Summit. And what was kind of born out of that was I could actually see myself doing that. I could make up my mind that, if I take these steps to, build on those goals, set them, build on those goals, and, attending the Exodus Summit with, sessions like, lies that we tell ourselves, instead of taking a sabbatical. And that was presented by Erika, and I can't think of her last name. And I will make sure to link the replays below so that you can also take advantage of and see the wonderful presenters that were provided to us and presented to us at the Exodus Summit this year. So, with actually, I probably should start at the top. So it was, from October 6th, Friday, through the 9th on Monday. And on the 6th, they eased us in. It was like, we're going to give you kind of a peek into what this weekend is going to be. And they eased us in with Octavia Rahim providing us with, her session was entitled Embodying Rest, a deeper restorative practice. And she just, I don't know, it was like, it was like your sister friend coming into your living room, or you go into her living room, and it just being such a calm and relaxing environment, and kind of peeling away those layers of woe is me, complete exhaustion, dealing with, coworkers and managers and all the things, partners or not partners, or people who want to be the partner, and, and all those things, your kids and all of that, how to, just kind of put that on pause close the door on that. Light your candle or light your incense, get something, that brings you joy in terms of the way it smells, bring something in that brings you joy in terms of the way it looks, a picture or whatever. Just close your eyes and get there. She did that. She did that. Atavia, opened up the summit in a way that I thought I knew what was coming, just based on the agenda that was provided and knowing who was going to be there. But no, sis, it was all the things and more. It was all the things and times 10, if you will. And again, this is just my experience. And it was from there, just, I don't know. I didn't know, I knew, based on the fact that I had gone to previous summits, that it was going to be good, but it was like, you know, I didn't know I needed to know some of these things, or I knew these things and I didn't know I had forgotten, some of these things, because I meditate on a regular basis. So, it's like that wasn't new. That wasn't it wasn't an introduction to it, but it was the way, you know, that it was guided. It was the way that you had, women across, we might as well say the world, kind of with you. It's like we were, you know, holding hands, and we were like, all of us were in our, separate dwellings, taking all of this in. And that, I think that's what made it so beautiful. That's what made it so beautiful, knowing that there were, you know, hundreds of women across the globe who were taking part in this, so you knew that this community wasn't just you, you know. And then Saturday, bright and early, we start with, the coffee chat from Rashida and Stephanie. And we go into the first speaker, who, I'm going to tell y'all, I don't think I had a dry eye. Like, these women, they took you there, and they did it in a way that was so, I don't know, welcoming, so exact. And you knew that you were not, being fed some BS. You knew that this was real talk. You knew that this was authentic. And they weren't just, pulling shit from the sky. They were, again, it was real talk. So, the first speaker on Saturday, it was the title, "The Lies We Tell Ourselves About Sabbaticals." And girl, let me tell you, I'm not even going to give you the list of the lies that I've told myself. She rattled off a few, and I was like, yeah, that's me. Stop it. You're looking at my paper. It's like, I can't afford it. Um, uh, uh, if I take a break, will I have a job to go back to, or will I have, an apartment to go back to, or whatever the case. It's like, all those things. And they're just things that, block it for you, and we know how to, at least I do, know how to block things for ourselves, just for reasons that don't even make any sense, right? So, um, it was amazing, to have someone kind of lay it out for you in a way that, one, it was digestible, and two, you could easily relate to it, and you could easily say, okay, yes, I'm doing that and I won't do it again. Yes, I'm doing that, and I know when I recognize that that's happening, when I'm trying to shut down my goals because I'm thinking that I can't do it, or I'm just tired, and I'm using it, that as an excuse. Go to bed, get some rest, and wake up and start again. You know, so that was the start of the day. We went on, and we had a session on safety when you're traveling, particularly when you're traveling solo, which a lot of us do. And just, again, some things that I knew, and some things that I didn't know, and some things that I should know. Being that the age I am, it's like, why don't you know that? They had a session with a few women talking about healthcare abroad. And that was, amazing, because they had, they came from three different points of views, and the reason for that particular session is, that's a way to, reason for you not to go. In fact, the title of it was Healthcare Abroad, a reason to move, not a reason to stay. And again, I, went into that session like, I don't know, what they can tell me. I know what I know. I know who, what my health is, yada, yada, yada. And, again, they gave some, you know, uh, tips on things that, yeah, you do know that already, but did you know it like this? Or did you know that, when you do get ready to go, if you're going to go for an extended stay, let's say 6 months at a time, that you can ask your doctor for your prescriptions for that amount of time. And it didn't even occur to me, just little stuff like that. It didn't even occur to, these are nuggets that, again, only I would have gotten from the Exodus Summit. Um, we even had a couple of sessions by the founders of Exodus Summit, Rashida and Stephanie. There was a session on decluttering, and not just decluttering your space so you can go, but just decluttering the mind. And again, it kind of goes back to that first session on meditating and, the mindset that we're in, and making sure that when you do like to declutter your house or your apartment to leave, that you're not basically taking that clutter physically and mentally with you when you leave, right? Again, that's what I got out of it. um, there was also a session on the keynote speaker on Saturday, Rachel Cargill. She got into the weeds on, just how to, once you make a decision to do something, and once you settle on, these are my goals. Again, going back to courage, because it takes courage to do this kind of stuff. It takes courage to decide, what, you know, this isn't serving me, this isn't working for me. Let me, try something different. Let me go somewhere else and start over. Um, and it's okay that, hey, you try it and, it doesn't quite work in, I don't know, Spain, and you come back and you regroup and, you recalibrate and start again, and you go maybe to Mexico, and that's a ticket, you know, that's the one, that's the place for you. Um, and that's the thing. Like, I know when I was younger, I did stuff. I mean, I moved to New York without a place to stay and without a job. So I don't have, a problem with doing something like that. But I do find that the older I get, the more hesitant I become to trying something new, or inserting big change. I want it to be small and kind of compact, and, let me, talk to, my tribe and see, hey, what do y'all think? And, one of the speakers, I think it was on Sunday, I can't remember which one it was. I'll look for it and find out. She mentioned how she had asked, uh, they asked her, how did your family feel about you moving? And she mentioned how, you know, uh, she had, put it out there and people were giving her, kind of negative, girl, you can't be doing that. You can't be going over here. And she's like, have you ever moved to Mexico? Have you ever, done that? You haven't done this and you want to give me advice on why I shouldn't do it, right? And we do that. We do that. That's the thing we do, right? And when she said that, I was like, sis, you just said something right there. That's real talk. It is, we look for validation. And then when we find someone who, kind of throws in their negativity and, and it may not be them, intentionally being negative. It's just that it's a fear that, oh my God, I would never do that. You packed up your whole life and moved to a whole nother country. How dare you? You know, and who said that I was going to do it forever? It's like, this is what I feel like doing right now, you know? So, excuse me, it was, one of those situations where I was like, wow, once again, every session, there was something. It wasn't just, hey, Saturday was good times but Sunday not so much. No, every session, which is why, on Tuesday I was so exhausted because, it was a virtual summit and you're, fully invested, but your attention is fully on, charge, 100%. Um, on Sunday, the first speaker was Libria Jones, who spoke about remote jobs and how to employ AI, chat GPT in particular, to your job search or your or expanding your business. Because she basically told us how to use AI in several different capacities. Again, I will leave the link so you can get in on the replays, and it's worth it. It's worth every cent. But again, it was invaluable. Libria was also a presenter at the 2022 Exodus Summit, and she was a wow factor then, and she just like took it to another level, a whole nother level with this chat GPT. I use it, but I had no idea, you know, that you could do some of the things that she showed us. And, with my personal branding business, I saw tremendous value in how I could employ it for boosting my brand as well as the brands for my clients. And again, it was just kind of, she wasn't telling us anything that one we could have found ourselves. But again, like I said, it is stuff you knew and stuff you didn't know you knew. That's what the Exodus Summit provides you. And yeah, it was, let's see what else. On Saturday that, just kind of was, Team Zeke. Zeke's. Her, so Team Zeke was also a presenter for the 2022 Exodus Summit, and they brought her back again because she's phenomenal. And Teen's platform is getting Black women paid, and her presentation this year was titled Better Pay Now, Salary and Promotion Secrets for Black Women. Again, she didn't give us a whole lot of stuff that we didn't know or we couldn't have found out, if we did the homework or whatever. But it was the way in which it was provided to us, again, in this Exodus, Summit way that you're like, dang, that's it. that is exactly what I need. And again, it wasn't, synonymous to job seekers or, people who are, in a job and trying to get better pay, who are, job seekers who are, making sure that, when they are presented with an offer, how to, take it to the next level and get what you deserve. Also, women who have their own business. And, I know that last year through Teen, she helped me scale up a bit with my prices because I was completely underselling my services. But again, it was just kind of, you know, it's almost like she took my hand and was like, sis, you deserve more. You know that you should be charging more. And I was, kind of hiding behind, the notion of, oh, if I charge more, they won't buy it basically. If I charge more, I won't get any clients. And I'm going to tell you, you know, I do not advertise. All of my clients come from word of mouth. So when she, taught me how to scale it up a bit and really look at, what I was charging and what my competitors were charging, I was like, you really are just kind of giving this away and thinking about the time and energy that goes into what I do. And nobody said, oh, girl, that's too high. Oh, that's too expensive. They just paid it. Every last when I scaled it, they just paid it. And again, it was through that session, and I had 2 sessions with Tine who, set me straight. And again, I can't put a price tag on that. I cannot put a price tag on that, you know. And a part of that is just courage, giving me the courage to ask for more, giving me courage to, you know, realize that, I was the only person. I was the only one in the equation, not my clients because they didn't know, you know, um, to know that all I had to do was ask for it. All I had to do was ask for it. And, another thing that I will say is with the Exodus Summit, it's about the planting of seeds for ourselves, for our families and our community, and for this community, for the Exodus community. And what we do with those seeds, the nurturing that we put into it, which is what, Stephanie and Rashida does, they pour back in, which is why, having the Exodus Summit every year, that's pouring back into the community, you know, bringing in these presenters who, they curate this to, they A to Z it. They have to. There's no way that they just frivolously grab these people and say, come on and talk to these women. No way, no way. No, 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 no. And it's obvious that that's not the case. It is so obvious that that's not the case, that there is so much care and thought that goes into the makeup of Exodus Summit. And that, I think, too, is what the value that is received, at least for me, you know. Um, so what was it on uh, Sunday night, Saturday night, Sunday night? The keynote speaker was Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, who is the founder of the site uh, Black Girls Therapy for Black Girls. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, Therapy for Black Girls. And I will say that I found my current therapist, on that site, and I want to think that that was through recommendation from either Stephanie or Rashida. I really think that that's how I found the site, and then went on and found my therapist. And I've been in therapy before. This wasn't my first rodeo with therapy. And I know that, finding a therapist is almost like finding a partner. You got to audition them and, figure out, if this is going to work, because you're getting really intimate about your feelings and emotions, and, you're telling them your business basically. And how do they, give that back to you? And how do they, the therapist that is, how do they then, treat you basically? And, I feel like I need sometimes that round the clock, team of people. And, that's when you have, your accountability partners and your family, your friends and your tribe, kind of helping you. But my therapist is, top of the line. But yeah, I found my therapist through, Therapy for Black Girls. And I did. I went through the process of finding a therapist, and called a few, and talked to a few, and it's like, nah, you're not gonna work, and yes, we'll see. Let's give it another try. Something is not clicking right or whatever. And that's one of the things that people don't know, that you do have to audition people to or and teach people how to be in your life, right? So yeah, I found my therapist through that site. And so I was really looking forward to her talk, which again, she, touched on Dr. Joy, touched on, just how to be in this community, I think, at least that's what I got out of it, and for lack of a better term, and we got some people who don't particularly like this term, but that Black girl magic, if you will, and that's at least what I, excuse me, got from her talk. And again, it was one of those things where once we were done, I was just like, oh my God, this was so good. And it was so much information. And the talk was just so on point. Both, Stephanie and Rashida asked some really poignant and needed to ask questions on, just how to be and do. And I'm so thankful that I was there to participate in that. Um, so we move on to the last day on Monday. And again, thinking, I'm full. My cup is full. You've given me some good stuff. And that was just the first day, not to mention, the Friday night. Um, but we go into, uh, from Sunday to Monday, and out of the box, the first presenter was Coach Tish. She is a freedom life coach, and her presentation was titled Coaching Yourself to Freedom: 5 Ways to Pursue Procrastination and Pursue Your Freedom Path. To pause your procrastination. Did I say pursue your procrastination? Yeah, that's crazy. So I'm going to say that again. So her presentation was titled Coaching Yourself to Freedom: 5 Ways to Pause Procrastination and Pursue Your Freedom Path. Now, y'all, that title alone had me tuning in, because I am a queen. I could teach a class on how to procrastinate. I really could. Or at least I feel like that sometimes. And, some people don't see that in me, but it's there. It's there. Um, and having her kind of, break down the 5 ways to pause it. Again, I will put the link for the replays in the description box so you all can participate and find out for yourselves. But if I had to, no, I can't say that. I was getting ready to say, if I had to just choose one session that was just worth all the money, I would say this one. And this one is up there. I gotta say that the Coach Tish session is up there. I cannot lie. because she broke it down in chewable, digestible chunks that, you really could just, I mean, she said, um, uh, freedom requires faith, friends, and fear. Yes. And I was like, where's she going with this? Because when you put fear in there, it's like, but I've heard this before. It's like, don't always look at fear as this negative thing. Sometimes fear makes you jump off the bridge, right? So that's basically, I mean, that's what she did. She gave me some nuggets that some I already knew. I already knew that. Some I was like, I didn't know I knew that, but I knew that, And some was like, dang, I did not know that. But she did. She presented it in such a way. It was such a sister girl way that yeah, I could take it in. I could take it in. And for a couple of financial segments that I'm gonna say, numbers for me is always something that, I don't jump on to. But again, it was presented in a way that, it's like, I don't, um, the presenter was like, this wasn't something that I was born to do. I didn't go to college for this. I didn't, this wasn't my field of choice or whatever. But I knew I needed to make some changes. I knew I needed to, get to know, how to count my money and how to manage my money so I can do things that I need to do for myself and my family and my community. Right. And so the segment on calculate your financial independence number and get there, so how do you figure out what your number is? That was one of the things. And again, before we even had the summit, the Exodus meetup is in Cape Town next year in February. And my accountability partner and I were like, okay, we're going, we're going to do this. And I said, well, the first thing we got to do is figure out our number. What is our number? And once we know our number, we can then plan and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And this is when we're going to do it, you know? So, finding your number is paramount. And so when she, started with that and, that was the title of her presentation, I was like, that's what I've been saying. So I've already, like I said, it was stuff that I knew, stuff that I didn't know I knew, you know? So it was, everything was just amazing. And the two ladies who talked about moving with their children and how they did that, and the steps that they took, and how they are now raising children. Um, you know, that was kind of one of those things where what, how do you unpack that? Because you think about, oh, I can't go because I have kids. Oh, I can't go because, my kid's, father is doing this and blah, 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 blah. But they laid it out in a way that can't be your excuse. That can't be your excuse because I did it. I did it with 5 kids. I did it with, 2 kids. So, what's up, sis? Do it. Right. Um, Again, Rashida Dow did several segments. We also had Stephanie Perry doing several segments. One in particular, the budgeting, to comparing budget travel to luxury travel and kind of what the in between is for that, and providing us with a few nuggets on kind of where and how to ask for it, because I'm all about not asking for permission. Our white counterparts don't do that, so I decided to stop doing that. And just recently, so, but seriously, real talk is, how do we, get out of our own way of being hesitant to do something and ask for something, ask for an upgrade, ask for, I paid for this, but you gave me this. I went to Mexico and not going to name the hotel, but I was in a room and there was a leak in the bathroom. And my thing was just to call, hey, there's a leak in my, bathroom. Could you come and fix it? Fix it, not move me. I said, come and fix it. So they did. They came and put a Band-Aid on it, literally put a Band-Aid on it. And I want to say I was there for a week. And the next day, or I want to say 2 days after that, the leak came back because it was just a Band-Aid. So then I said, oh, is it possible for me to get another room? Again, all I had to do was ask for it. Because guess what they did? They gave me another room that was better in so many different ways. The location of it, everything was like but all I had to do was ask for it. And I didn't think that I could the first day that I saw that, you know. So again, I am over asking for, you know, not asking for it, you know. I'm over that. I'm over that. So that segment was awesome sauce. And let me see the other thing. Sorry about that, y'all. The other piece of or the last piece of the Exodus Summit 2023, or the wrap up, the last speaker was Miss Tabitha Brown. And I will admittedly say that I didn't know a lot about Miss Tabitha Brown. I knew she existed, not saying that. I want to say maybe like a month ago, I was in the bookstore and I saw her cookbook and I flipped through it and was like, oh, that's interesting. That might be cool to, kind of, you know, get more information on. I flipped through it or whatever. I didn't buy it, set it there. Again, I knew that she was going to be here. So it's like, let's hear what she has to say. Had not experienced her in any other way, social media, none of that, YouTube, none of that, had not. And I didn't even, when I found out that she was going to be there, didn't go and seek out any more information. Just like, okay, well, see what she has to say. I already had the all access pass, so I knew I would get to hear her. And I'm leading up to something here. I didn't know that she was going to have the effect she had on me, which was, again, more of a feeling of this sisterhood. She had not been previously in or at any other summit, but it was just like homegirl was home, It was like she settled in and, hey, I'm here, y'all, what you need. And I knew that I was needed to hear what she had to say. I knew that because once she started talking again, it just felt like familiar, like I knew her, like she was just talking to me, like she had honed in. Had she said my name, I would have been like, oh my God, because that's how intimate it felt. Like she was talking just to me. And I knew that there were, other people on the call, other people watching. But I did. I felt like she was just talking to me. There were tears, and not just with her session, there were tears throughout. Because again, these women they touched on something that, like I said, it was this courage piece that, it was, telling you things that I knew, but I didn't know I knew. And I know I keep saying that, but it's true. And it was calling all of that in and, kind of just putting it, right there and saying, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie and Rashida, for one, providing the platform for it to happen, you know, the environment for it to happen. Like I said, they curated a summit that um, was a seed that is going to forever grow. You know how when you first plant a tree and then you come back, 50 years later and you look at this tree and it's this gigantic thing that, you didn't know it was going to be that large and all the things. And that's exactly what Exodus Summit did for me, and closing it out with Miss Tabitha Brown um, was, it was good times. It was good times. It was a gift, really, and I do feel like it was gift wrapped perfectly. And I truly, truly, truly am thankful that the opportunity was provided and I took advantage of that. I have since already gotten into what two separate additional accountability groups, and in one of them in particular, we met and there were probably about 10 of us. Their take on the summit was also a different perspective than the few of us who had been through um, one or more summits, and they were like bursting with, let's get started, let's let's get into this. And as I was saying, one of the things that Stephanie continued to, I think Rashida was saying this too, they were both, continued to stress was to get active, get about applying, this information to your goals. And, this year, next time you could be, presenting to the Exodus community. And that again didn't even dawn on me. That didn't even, having her say that, it did, actually light a fire, in me that, yes, I want to do it. I want to be a step further, and what before actually hearing her say it, um, hearing Stephanie make that pronouncement, I think it was Saturday. Yes, Saturday. I text my accountability partners, um, telling them one of my goals, and I'd up one of my goals. And, um, you know, it was just because when you put it out there, your accountability partners know, then, you got to do it. You got to do it. And, part of that is this YouTube channel, you know, and, just holding myself accountable, having a community that's, holding me up for that accountability. Um, it goes back to what I, started talking about at the top of this video is that courage piece, and how do you become the beacon of reinvention, change is courage. And again, I feel like the Exodus Summit, in particular the 2023 Exodus Summit, has poured a bucket of courage for all of the attendees, in my opinion, but particular me. And I feel so honored and so blessed to have it bestowed upon me, this opportunity, because that's how I see it, an opportunity, um, to, take these nuggets and grow them into, take these seeds. I'm going to go back to that analogy. Take these seeds and have them blossom into something even larger than I've anticipated or dreamed it could be, you know. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave you with that. But again, I will link the uh, put in the link, the replays for the Exodus Summit, so you can be a part of that and be about that. I will say that the Exodus Summit is predominantly by and for Black women. And, if you're not, you heard what I had to say, so you got it there. And if you are, sis, go and get yours, okay? And come and be a part of this community. It is ready and waiting for you. So again, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. See you next time.